Good evening, friends, family, faculty, and fellow Carrboro class of 2012. Exactly 4 years and 1 month ago to this day, my heart was broken by terrible news. On May 9th, 2008, Breyer's Ice Cream issued a press release stating in order to remain competitive amongst rising prices, Breyer's has made the difficult decision to reduce the size of our half-gallon containers to 1.5 quarts. I nearly cried. It seemed like everyone was making a conscious effort to cut things down, and some days we really could use that extra pint. That's why I was nervous that my high school experience would be downsized, coming to a brand new school such as Carrboro. I was afraid that the school spirit and traditions that become such a hallmark of my perception of high school would be missing or underdeveloped. Unlike my ice cream, I was pleasantly surprised to find such a lively community of students and teachers who were deeply passionate about being a Jaguar. Just look at Mr. Bang. We were fortunate to live out our 4 years here with a principal who, in all honesty, could be running for president. I can see it now. Batman 2012. Ice cream for America. He's got my vote. The Carrboro class of 2012 has a very bright future. I'm looking at a crowd of future doctors, lawyers, and Walmart executives. Which is why I deliberated over finding a suitable message. In my search, I perused the far corners of the internet and watched over half a dozen commencement speeches with inspirational speakers from Bill Gates to Stephen Colbert. Now, I wanted to get one of them down here tonight, but I was told that was simply out of the school's budget. So instead, you have me. But I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to inspire you by talking about me. This fall, I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to take math courses at UNC with a close friend, Joe Gustanis. Our first semester was multivariable calculus, notoriously one of the hardest and most failed classes at UNC. By the first midterm, the person sitting in front of and behind me had already dropped the course. It was like an infectious disease was debilitating the students from coming to class, and I feared we were next. However, midway through the course, surprisingly one student was bold enough to join in and enter what many college students thought was GPA suicide. Maybe most surprising of all was that this new student was just 4 feet tall. His name was Mark Anthony, and he was 8 years old. A math prodigy, I remember our lesson on finding the area under a probability curve when Mark raised his hand and asked, "When are we going to learn about triple integrals?" Apparently, constructing double integrals were simply too boring for him. Joe and I wondered how he could possibly know so much to get bored by our professor. But the answer was right in front of us. Even when Mark was bored, I could tell he always wanted to keep pushing himself. One class period, he asked Joe if he could borrow his computer to look up something. When we glanced over, he was studying the esoteric proofs of vector decomposition. Don't ask me. I was impressed by Mark's extreme talent, but was even more impressed that he fostered his ability by continuing to challenge himself and learn new mathematics. I haven't seen Mark since, but I'll be waiting for him to win a Nobel Prize so I can proudly tell my kids, I knew that guy. Now, there are 2 lessons to learn from Mark. First, there will always be someone better than you, and that is okay. You are not a failure. Second, to truly excel at anything, you must practice until you are good, and then practice being good until you are great. Then practice being great until you think you are the best. Then realize that you are not the best, and continue practicing. Aristotle once said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Whether to become a great surgeon, teacher, artist, Tetris god, or maybe just a better friend. You must learn to develop good habits of practice. Whatever you decide to do, be sure to do it well, my friends. But if there's one habit to practice, it is to smile every day. Life is too short not to. Thank you, and congratulations again to the class of 2012.